So today what we're talking about is digital wallets. A digital wallet is basically, anything that you would have in your wallet except for cash. So any credit cards, debit cards, you can scan into or add your information into your phone and then do contactless payment with this digital wallet. So basically it's just like a app version of the payment methods that you would have in your regular wallet. And there's a couple of different ones that you can use. I wanted to go with some of the main ones, like two of the main ones, one for Apple Wallet for iPhone and Google Wallet for Android. Some of you may have, if you've had any experience with digital wallets, there are ones that are set up with PayPal, there's a Samsung wallet. So there's different versions of this. I just went with two that are popular and sort of easily accessible, whether you have an Android or an iPhone. So we're going to talk about how to set these up, and then we're going to talk a little bit about security and how to make sure you're keeping this information secure on your phone. Okay. So the first one we're going to talk about is Google Wallet, which is an Android app. I believe you can also use it on iPhone, but iPhone kind of has its own setup where Apple Wallet is already installed on it. So it makes sense to use Apple Wallet if you have an iPhone. But these are the steps for Google Wallet. And it's really like so many Google apps. If you have a Gmail account already, it's really easy to set it up and sort of link your wallet to your Gmail account. Like anything else, like other apps, you're going to have to download Google Wallet first. I think there may be some newer phones that have this automatically downloaded when you get them, but it's worth checking, especially if you can't find where it is on your phone. So just go ahead and go to the Play Store and look up Google Wallet. And this icon here is what it should look like. It sort of looks like a little multicolored wallet. And you'll be asked to download it, like you'll have the link to download it. And then it'll ask you to link it to your Gmail account. If you have multiple Gmail accounts, go ahead and link it to the one that maybe you use most often, whichever one you want it to be connected to, that's fine. And this will be sort of integrated with your other Google apps, which can be really helpful. Again, it's still a secure app, and we'll talk a little bit about security. So once you've downloaded Google Wallet, go ahead and open it, and you're going to click up here. So there's an F for me because my name is Frances, but you might have your profile picture. You might have, a letter or something there. You want to click on there, and that gets you to your account. All right, so top right-hand corner of your screen. Also too, you can go in here before you even do that and look at some of the tips for how to use Google Wallet if you want some more information. So they have that set up for you. So you're going to go ahead and click it there. And once you do that, you're going to see sort of the setup requirements for putting your cards into Google Wallet and using Google Wallet to pay. So they make it pretty clear for you here. So these settings down here, NFC is a thing that allows you to make contactless payment on your phone. So it's just a setting that you enable that allows you to do that card reader to read the back of your phone in order to get that information. So you're going to need to turn that on. If it's not currently on, it'll give you the option to turn it on here. So if you just click on this, mine's on, so I have that check mark. But if there's an X there, you can click on this and change that setting. It's also going to require you to have some sort of screen lock. And that is a really smart thing, because that is what makes this a secure form of payment, is that you have to unlock your screen before you can get into your wallet. That's a measure of protection here, that they actually make you have that measure of protection in order to keep that data safe. So it could be, you could have face scan, you could have a fingerprint scan, you could a password, a pattern. And we'll talk a little bit about at the end about which of these are sort of the strongest and the best security for information like this. But just know that you do have to have some form of screen unlock in order for this to proceed in setting this up, because they want to keep that data safe. And then the last one down here is your phone meets security requirements. That generally is just that you've done your updates and stuff, and that you've got the most sort of updated form of security that Android is offering. So if you have an X there, it might just be that you need to do an update or something. So you're going to have to make sure all three of those are checked. And then you don't have to do this, but if this is what you're going to use as, the form of payment on your phone, you might as well just go ahead and set this as your default for payment, right? Because then you won't have to sort of toggle between apps if you're trying to pay for something. So you can go ahead and do that if you want to. You can still set this up without doing that. That's okay too. But all these do need to be checked in order for you to, all the ones down at the bottom do need to be checked in order for you to proceed. Okay, so once you've done that, you're ready to add a payment method. So what you're going to do is click on that blue button that says set up payment card. And you'll get a series of screen prompts. These are hard to show you with screenshots because the phone is made so that to protect your security, you can't take screenshots of some of these processes, right? So, but what it will ask you to do is it'll give you a little camera screen, and you can either take a picture of your credit debit card, or you can enter that data manually like you would if you were like buying something online. So, your name, the credit card number, the security code, you're going to put that information in, or you can do it where it just sort of scans it automatically. And then what it's going to do is, and many of you I'm sure have had this before, it's going to send you a verification code by text or by email. So just to further secure your information, just to make sure it's you doing this, you'll be asked to enter your verification code. So you'll get a text message that has, usually it's a 6-digit code, and you'll just be asked to enter that in order to confirm that you are actually the one setting this up. And once you do that, you should be all good to go to use it. It's a relatively fast process. You can add multiple cards to your wallet. I'm really sort of focusing on credit debit cards today, but you can also add things like, you can add your COVID card to it. You can add gift cards to it as well. You can add things like, I don't know, like AAA cards and membership cards and stuff like that as well. There's a bunch of things you can do. There's a little bit more range of what you can add to it on the Apple Wallet than on the Google Wallet, but you can still put a lot of things in here as well. I haven't done much of that myself. Most of what I do is with just payment methods, but that's definitely something worth exploring if you want to, get more information in, so you can use that more like a full wallet. Okay, so when you go to pay using Google Wallet, you're going to look for either of these two symbols, all right? So this one you've probably seen before is the contactless payment. So if you see that, you should be able to pay with Google Pay. This is the Google Pay, like their own logo. So this is saying real specifically that Google Pay is accepted somewhere. Google Pay is just when you use Google Wallet. So Google Pay and Google Wallet are a little bit sort of interchangeable here. So you're just paying with Google Wallet. So when you go to use your card through your digital wallet, the first thing you're going to do is unlock your phone. Again, that's a measure of protection to make sure that this information isn't accessible to anyone other than. So however you regularly unlock your phone, you're going to have to do that. Even if your phone is unlocked, if you go into Google Wallet to pay, it will ask you to do your unlock code again, just to be safe. You're going to open the Google Wallet app. And then if you have multiple cards in there, you want to make sure you select the card that you want to use for this particular payment. So make sure you're on the right card when you're paying. And then what you're going to do is, like with those contactless credit cards or debit cards, you're going to hold the back of your phone over the card reader for a couple of seconds. And once your payment goes through, you should see a check mark on your screen, or it might actually make a noise. The card reader might flash. There should be some relatively clear indication that your payment has gone through. But the thing that I always look for is that check mark on the phone that's just like, yep, your payment has happened. And then you're done. That's how you do it. And you'll get a receipt just like you normally would. There, you can actually go back in your phone in Google Wallet and see what your transactions were as well. So it's a nice way to keep those all in one. And if you want to double check that you didn't get double charged or something like that, you can go back and look at that as well. So that's really all it takes to set it up. Many places are taking this now. You've probably seen people scanning their phones on the subway. So like with the card readers on the subway, you can do this with your phone. I haven't bought a Metro card in a really long time because that's how I always do this. And so it's becoming more and more popular. It might not be something you're quite ready to do yet, but I do think that it's going to become more and more sort of the standard for how we pay for things. And we'll probably get more secure as we go too, even though it's relatively secure now. The Apple Wallet. So if you have an iPhone, Apple Wallet should be pre-installed on your phone. That means it's already in there when you get the phone and you shouldn't have to reinstall it. Sometimes, when we get a new phone, sometimes you go through and disable apps that you don't use, or you move apps around and stuff. So sometimes it can be hard to find. If you can't find it and you need help finding it, what you can always do for this or any app is go to the App Store and search for it. And it'll tell you if you have it, and you can reinstall it if you need to, okay? It should exist on your iPhone already if you haven't moved it anywhere, but you can always check in the App Store and get it. And these are all free apps because they want to encourage you to use them. So you don't have to pay anything to set these up. The Apple Wallet icon, again, is going to look not dissimilar from the Google Wallet one. It's just, it's meant to look like a brightly colored wallet. All right, so you're going to go ahead and open the Apple Wallet app, and there will be, I don't have this in the picture, but I do have this, the plus sign here. There'll be a plus sign to add a card. All right, and once you hit that plus sign, it'll come up on this screen where it says, add to wallet, and you're going to select which kind of card you want to add. So again, we're focusing a lot here on debit or credit cards, but again, you can add some transit cards, and then you can add your driver's license, state ID, that sort of thing as well. So there's a little bit more, additional options in here than in Google Wallet. So let's just say we're going to do a debit or credit card. So we would click on that. Again, it's going to give you the same steps that Google Wallet did. So you can either manually enter your information, which will be your name, your card number, your expiration date, and then your security code, or you can do the thing where it scans it for you. And what I have here is just a picture of Apple Wallet that has multiple cards in it. So you see they have like their REI card and their AAA card. And so this is just, what your wallet could look like if it was full of a lot of things. And this is helpful to know if you need to like select a card to pay for something, you want to just make sure you're on the right one when you do it. Okay. So much like Google Wallet, you should get a verification code for this as well. Again, it'll be one of those 6-8 digit codes, something like that, that'll either be texted or emailed to you. So you want to go ahead and fill that in. And once that's confirmed, you should be ready to use Apple Wallet. In the case of Apple Wallet, I think this might happen with Google Wallet every once in a while. It's possible that you might get a message from your bank that you simultaneously need to have the banking app on your phone. I don't know that this happens very often, but just be aware that that is something that can happen. Sometimes certain banks integrate their banking app with Apple Pay or Apple Wallet or Google Wallet, and they require you to also have their banking app. Again, I don't think that happens super often, but just be aware. And then you can use Apple Wallet at any of these places that have the Apple Pay symbol, or again, the contactless payment symbol here. And there you'll see, once you start looking for this, you'll see that there are a lot of places that have this. And the process is going to be really, really similar for paying with Apple Wallet as it was for paying with Google Wallet. So you're going to unlock your phone, again, however you regularly unlock your phone. You're going to open the Apple Wallet app. If you have multiple cards in there, like in that picture, you're going to select which one you want to use and make sure you have the one that you want to use, especially if you want to be using, specific cards for specific things. And then again, you're going to hold the back of your phone against the card reader, or if it's, it's a card reader still, but like if you're on the train, it's going to be that screen right in front of the turnstile. You're going to hold the back of your phone close to that payment reader until you see that check mark or that indication on your phone or on the card reader itself that your payment has gone through. If you do it on the ones at the train, the reader sort of flashes a little bit and you can see that pretty clearly. And then you're done, you're good. And just like with Google Wallet, you can go back and look at your transactions if you need to keep track of them. And it's relatively straightforward once you get it set up. So let's talk for a second about security. Okay, I think this is one of the biggest concerns here. And I want to preface this by saying, nothing is 100%, right? If somebody wants to get your information, people have ways of doing so. That said, a lot of the research that I did about digital wallets versus just like a traditional wallet full of cards is it's actually, there's a level of safety with digital wallets that you don't have with using a card, right? And what this is there's security protocols that are built into digital wallets called encryption and tokenization. And I'm not going to pretend like I actually know what those words are on my own, but tokenization I looked up, all right? And what that means is if you make a transaction with a digital wallet, the number that is getting transmitted to the payment recipient, they never actually see your credit card number or your account number, your debit card number. They see something that is like a randomly generated number that stands in for that number. And this is all kind of, weird, but that stands in for that number and makes the transaction happen, but they're never actually accessing your card number. And that's important because I think a lot of people have heard about, scammers can connect things to payment readers and they can read your card and they can get your information. This way, that information actually isn't something that is ever being transmitted, really. Something is standing in its place in order to make that transaction. So that level of protection is something that you don't have with just a physical card. So that's good to know. Some people, there's the very real concern of whether you lose, if your phone gets lost or stolen, right? One of the things that is so central to that is this fact that you have to unlock your screen in order to do this. So I just want to make a plug again for making sure that your method for unlocking your screen is not a really simple one, right? You want to make it a little bit challenging. I know a lot of people use biometrics now, so you use your fingerprint or your face. Those are quite secure. I would say fingerprint a little bit more so, but then, passwords are very secure too. You just want to make sure that they are something that is not easy to guess. A lot of people use years, a lot of people use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever. If you've got that right now, I would bump up your security a little bit if you're going to be using a digital wallet. Even if you're not, it's good to have something that really is not something that someone's going to guess. Or it would be very difficult for them to guess. If you're currently doing patterns, I would consider doing a password or one of those biometrics like your finger or your face, or some of them do retinas now too, but the pattern ones can just be really easy to guess, right? It would take some trial and error, but just in terms of which ones are the strongest protection, especially if you have something like a digital wallet. In short, digital wallets are quite safe. Nothing is 100%. And again, if you do get your phone stolen or your phone is lost, you can always turn off your cards in the same way you would turn off cards if you lost your wallet, right? So you call the bank and turn it off, or you go through your banking app and just do the thing where you click it off to make sure nobody's using it as a sort of secondary thing. But I personally, I can't speak for anyone else, but I think I would actually be more worried about somebody using my bank accounts if I lost my wallet than if I lost my phone. I really don't want to lose my phone for other reasons, but my primary concern there, I would not be super concerned about somebody using that, because I don't think that they would have access to it in the way that they would if it was just my wallet laying on the ground, right? So that's me. So gauge that for yourself, but just know that across the board, places like Norton antivirus and stuff say this is actually a pretty safe system, and that as long as you have a relatively strong way of unlocking your phone, you're in pretty good shape with this. Okay.